Hello, in this video, I'll be talking about tips to manage the holidays when you've had breast cancer and maybe are still undergoing treatment. So the holidays come with them a host of expectations, and even without breast cancer, so many people describe the holidays as stressful. If you are supporting somebody going through breast cancer treatment, maybe some of these things can be useful for you even when breast cancer treatment is over. So let's talk about the emotions that can come up. Obviously, there are going to be emotions like anxiety, just that stress of getting ready for something that feels so big when you're already trying to balance appointments and finances and other people's expectations. There may also be some sadness that you wish you could be enjoying the holidays in the way you normally do. Perhaps the holidays are not stressful, but rather are joyful for you. And having breast cancer and going through its treatment are taking away some of that joy. So you may feel some sadness because the holidays are flavored with things that you wish were the case that aren't. You may also feel angry and frustrated. Perhaps people are expecting of you that you will perform the same role that you've always performed every year, and this time you're going through something pretty extreme, and other people are not adjusting their expectations in a way that's supportive of you. You may also be happy about all the distraction that the holidays offer, and people may not want you to. You may be excited and really hopeful, and other people are looking at you with that look of, oh, maybe you shouldn't do everything you do. And this actually is something you welcome, and people are telling you how to feel. That can add to the anger and frustration and really take away from your joy. So there are a host of things that can come up. There may be worry that you won't be able to do everything you wanted to do, that maybe finances are stressed a little bit, stretched for you, and it's hard for you to be able to show up and give to others in the way that you would have liked. So it's natural that a whole host of emotions may come up. You may find yourself fatigued, and that may lead to a short fuse with yourself and with other people. You may be really frustrated about the energy that's required of you to have the kind of holiday you want. So the first thing to do is to take a look at all those feelings that are coming up and give them language. Maybe write them down. Feelings are not thoughts. So, I feel that you should be doing this is actually a thought. Any time you have a feeling that's followed by the word that, it's probably a thought and not a feeling. We really want to encourage you to focus on those feelings and acknowledge them. What we don't feel can't heal, and they can actually become outsized. Find somebody with whom you can share the feelings, whether it's us in the comments or a good friend, your medical team, somebody in your community, somebody else going through this. Finding connection can be helpful in giving voice to your feelings. So you've acknowledged your feelings, and those may change throughout the holidays. Depending on the month you're watching this, it may be, the holidays may be 2 months away and there may be nothing going on. And then as you get closer, you may get more anxious or more stressed or more fearful. Once you've acknowledged your feelings and expressed them in writing to yourself or just saying them out loud, or sharing them with somebody else, what are some strategies you can use to move forward? Well, the first one is to set realistic expectations. Frankly, we should probably all do this regardless of what else is going on in our life. We get all these pictures growing up about how the holidays should look and seem, how we should look and seem, how we decorate our homes and piles of presents everywhere. But it's meaningful to set expectations about what's realistic for your energy level, your finances, what your family can do, and what fits the rest of your life, all the other things going on in your life. Traveling 12 hours in one direction, turning around and coming back and traveling additional hours in another direction probably isn't realistic, even without breast cancer and its treatment. And throw in the demands on your body and your energy, your emotions, your intellectual capabilities. setting those expectations, even if it means scaling back and saying no to yourself and to other people, is probably a good first step. The next thing to consider is enlisting help. So this may be an opportunity for you to say to people, we need to make a change in our family, in our neighborhood, in our extended family, in our communities, to make things right-sized to the resources, whether they be time, energy, finances that we have. You don't have to be the bad person. You don't have to say, we have to make a change. You can enlist the help of others. And start with the end in mind. How do you want to feel at the end of the holidays? What's most meaningful to you and the rest of the people in your life? And start with the end in mind. So, for example, if you would like to say at the end of the holidays, we've had really meaningful connections with a small group of people, that can help you create the we, so that you're not saying, oh no, we're not doing that this year. You're really picking what's most meaningful to you and your first family or your family of choice, to your community, and starting with how would you like to feel at the end of the holiday. That can help you be really deliberate in what you and the people around you create together. Getting support from an outside person can be helpful. Just running by with your friends. What are you working on for the holidays? Help me create a framework for talking to my family and the other people in my life. Setting those expectations with other people and enlisting support can be really useful. It is very likely that if you're feeling stressed at the holidays, that other people are too. That if you're feeling overextended, that the people in your life are feeling the same way. Sometimes we have these expectations of a so-called picture-perfect holiday, and we feel if it doesn't meet that everybody will be disappointed. Yet when we talk to them, that's actually not the case. And even if you make small changes in what you do this year compared to last, or if you want to set yourself up for success next year compared to this year, those are things you can do with other people in your family. You don't have to do it alone. You can search for tips for enjoying the holidays with 10 people. You can meet midway. You don't have to cook at home. If you can, everybody can bring a dish. These are ways that other people can help you if feasting is a big part of your holiday. If contributing to the community and making donations to an organization is something you like to do, see if there are other people that want to help, so it's not you doing all the driving and the wrapping and the packing and getting everybody set for what's coming up. If you're watching this when it's a long time before the holidays, it's really good to give people a lead time. So instead of waiting until the end of November for an end of December holiday, you may want to start laying the groundwork a little bit earlier. It's also key to set boundaries. You get to decide, as we all do, but maybe this is an opportunity. This diagnosis and its treatment are an opportunity for you to ask yourself what is acceptable to you and what's not. If there's somebody in your life who destroys the holidays every year, maybe this is an opportunity to set that boundary. And this is where enlisting the support of others in your family or your community can be really helpful. So setting boundaries, setting expectations, setting those expectations early, and really talking with the other people in your life about what is most meaningful. For some people, it's the music of the holidays. For other people, it's the decorations. For others, it's the travel and being with people you don't get to see very often. So deciding what's the bare minimum and then setting those expectations, not just for others, but also for yourself. One thing that some people do is create a vision board. They go through magazines and they download pictures from the internet. What's really meaningful, and other people can do that in the family and set that attention way ahead of time. If you have images of how you want those to be, share those with your family, and don't be afraid to say, this year I need your help creating this, and this is really important to me. This may also be a time for you to set new traditions, whether it's changing how the meals are done, or instead of an evening meal that goes from 3 in the afternoon till 11 at night, maybe making that a brunch. So these are just a couple ideas. I know you're going to have some of your own, but it's important to realize that it's just because something's always been that way doesn't mean it always needs to be that way. And while you may not want to change everything wholesale all at once, you can introduce some new traditions this year. What about social events during the holidays? If you are one of those people who's used to going to work parties for your job and work parties for other people's jobs, like your partner, maybe you want to prepare yourself for those. One of the key things that can be really useful is to set time boundaries. If that's difficult for your partner and they want to be there longer, is there some way that you can go to the event for a shorter amount of time? You don't need to stay there for 6 or 7 hours. You can go for a couple hours at the beginning or perhaps at the end to join your partner in a work event. What about neighborhood and family events? Maybe setting the time you intend to stay ahead of time can be really useful. And then getting support to limit the time that way. So let's say you're going to your family and your partner or your kids or a friend are going with you. You can tell them before you walk in, my goal is to stay for about 2 hours. I think I can handle 2 hours before I get tired. So it's not just time, is it? It's energy. And it's not just while you're there, it's also the energy to get home and then relax and wind down once you get home. So if you say to your partner or a friend, I think I'd like to stay for 2 to 3 hours, how will that partner, what are some concrete ways that person can help you remember it's time to go? And remember, it can be sticky. It can take a little while to leave. So if you want to leave at 2.5 hours, maybe it's useful to start doing those exit strategies at 2 hours. And planning ahead for your departure can be really useful. What about navigating conversations at social events? So there are a couple extremes, things that can happen, and feelings you might have. The first is that you may wish to direct conversations so that you're not talking about your health, your treatment decisions you've made, how you're feeling. You're just there because you want to enjoy the holiday. One of the things that's really helpful is practicing a kind and firm answer to people's questions, like, thank you for being interested in my health. I'm really just here to enjoy the party tonight. Let's catch up later. And practicing that a few times. You may even want to hit pause on this video and practice saying that or something similar out loud. And there may be the opposite extreme where you want to talk about what's going on with you and people act like it's not. And that can feel really invalidating and you may feel really lonely. One of the things to understand is that people may not know if this is an appropriate time, and they may also not remember. If you haven't seen them in a while, or if they haven't heard from you, they may have heard about this, but maybe there and distracted because there are other people at this event, whether it's a work or family party. One would expect that family would be caring and compassionate, but if they don't feel skilled at asking in a compassionate way, they may just choose to stay silent. That can be really hurtful. And making sure that you practice self-compassion at what is clearly a difficult time can be really important in helping you weather the lack of skill of people that you'll run into. The other thing I wanted to talk about was loneliness at the holidays. The loneliest time of the year, at least in the United States, is between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. People can feel really isolated. They have these images of how the holidays should be, and the holidays don't line up with that. You may live alone, or you may live with other people and still feel lonely. We can be in a large crowd and feel really lonely. So if this has happened to you in the past, it's likely that you'll have some of those feelings again. And planning for those feelings and planning on the most excellent ways to take the absolute best care of yourself at this time more than any other is so important. And that may include finding a friend that you can talk to during the holidays, setting up a regular get-together with somebody who loves you, even somebody who's been kind to you. And finally, the last thing I want to say is when we're feeling lonely and stressed at the holidays, sometimes forgetting ourselves and focusing on other people can be so helpful. You've been going from appointment to appointment, or maybe you've completed treatment, or maybe you're just about to start treatment. When we focus on our own concerns and worries, they can get bigger. If we focus on other people during the holidays, sometimes it can help us. And we know that helping other people actually helps the giver more than the receiver. So this might be making cookies with your family and giving them to the neighbors, or donating to a toy drive or a food drive around the holidays, or volunteering. As long as you feel fit enough and you're feeling enough like yourself, these are things to consider for everybody, but especially when you're going through a difficult time. You get to decide what's helpful for you. I've covered a lot in this video. I hope it's been helpful. I would love to encourage you to subscribe to our channel, drop a comment or a question below, and let us know how you've gotten through the holidays. If you're outside of the US, we would love to hear about your holidays and how you've managed to go through breast cancer and its treatment during the holidays. Share that with the Yerbba community. Thank you so much for watching.